Welcome back to the WCL Fantasy Forecast Week 3 edition. In this video, I'll be looking at the game between ShowmeyourTDs, owned by Bubba Strickland. They come into the game at 1-1, and their opponent will be the Dingbats, owned by Brant Askew and Garrett Griffiths. They also come into the game 1-1. ShowmeyourTDs was a 5-point favorite when I made my pick yesterday. They've moved up to a 10-point favorite. It has not changed my pick. My pick was the Dingbats when they were favored, when the other team was favored by 5. It's still the Dingbats with an even bigger spread. I actually think the Dingbats are going to win this game. ShowmeyourTDs has only, I believe, 2 matchups I'm really a fan of this week. Yeah, and they're riddled with injuries right now. Basically, I like Peyton for ShowmeyourTDs this week against Detroit. They gave up 400 and some yards to the Chargers in week 1, and they've looked pretty bad. And in general, Peyton kind of set the ship right in the second half against Kansas City, and I'm expecting a pretty big game from him. The other matchup I like is Odell Beckham against the Redskins. He torched the Redskins in the only game he's ever played against them. He's the only receiver the Giants have right now, so he's pretty much going to be the offense tonight, as we're taping this on Thursday. That's why I say tonight. He does have some matchups I'm definitely not fond of at all. He has DeMarco Murray, and he pretty much has to play DeMarco Murray because everyone else is hurt. He's got Deshaun Jackson hurt, Julius Thomas hurt, Brashad Perryman hurt, Tevin Coleman hurt. And I don't know if DeMarco Murray doesn't play. I don't know if he can even put Zach Ertz into that spot, and you can play one running back. I'm not absolutely sure right off the top of my head. But if DeMarco Murray plays or he doesn't play, I don't like the matchup anyway against the Jets. He's banged up. The Eagles are struggling to run the ball. The Jets don't really let teams run the ball anyway. It's just a bad deal there. Joseph Randall's got a decent matchup against the Falcons. He gets most of the running touches, and with Brandon Weeden at quarterback, they should run a ton. So he definitely has the chance to go over his projection. He's also starting Travis Benjamin this week. This is one of those things where he may be a week or so late to the party because I doubt Travis Benjamin's going to keep scoring 30 points. But being that he returns punts also, there's always a chance to get one that way. So, and once again, he has to start him because he doesn't have anyone else healthy to start. He's heavy on this team's is Eagle heavy, which is a reason I'm not picking them this week because I don't like the matchup against the Jets. He also has Jordan Matthews. If you just looked at the box score last week, you'd think Jordan Matthews had a pretty decent day. He got 6 balls for 80 yards and a touchdown, but the touchdown came with a minute left when they were down by 17. So he wasn't really in the flow of the game. The Eagles really never got anything going. And the Jets bring a ton of pressure, and Sam Bradford only completes 28% of his passes against blitzes for his career. And that's the worst of any quarterback that qualifies over that time frame for however long Sam Bradford's been in the league. He does have a decent kicker matchup with Justin Tucker against the Bengals. The Bengals defense is pretty good, which should limit Baltimore's touchdown percentage in the red zone, and maybe he can get some points there. And he's also starting Devin Funchess. He's only caught 2 balls so far this year, and I really have no idea if he's healthy enough to see a lot of time at receiver or if they're even going to look his way. So, not a lot of stuff I like on the ShowmeyourTD side this week, other than Peyton and Odell and to some extent Joseph Randall. On the other side, I'm not too terribly bullish about the Dingbats roster either. I'll go over the guys I'm not really fond of first. I'm definitely not fond of Carlos Hyde this week against the Cardinals. The week 1 162-yard game was just, it seems like it was just a home Monday night opener, and that was all they had, and they showed up he didn't do much against Pittsburgh last week. They got obliterated. I don't know if Arizona's going to beat them that bad, but I don't foresee him running the ball a lot or them having the lead for him to run the ball. So I don't really like that. Jeremy Hill, after his 2 fumbles last week, it's kind of sketchy as to whether he's going to get a majority of the work, but you would think so since since Cincinnati drafted him to run power running plays as opposed to Gio Bernard, who can't do stuff like that. So they'll probably at least give him the work this week, and if he keeps fumbling, that's something to look out for in the future. Who else has he got? Sammy Watkins, that's an okay matchup against Miami. Nothing special. He can always get in the end zone. Stevie Johnson's going to keep seeing targets for the Chargers. Phillip Rivers is throwing the ball I think he's completed 81% of his passes this year. So he should definitely see more targets with Antonio Gates out, and they should be catchable balls, so he should put up some stats. He's playing Amari Cooper this week, and I love Amari Cooper. And the Raiders, that's so strange to say, but the Raiders look like a professional football team Sunday for the first time in, I don't know, maybe a decade, probably. And Cleveland, they're not really. Marcus Mariota had a decent game against Cleveland last week, and I think that Oakland's going to be able to throw the ball on them, honestly, and Amari Cooper should have a big day as their number 1 target. Not a huge day, not like a Julio type day, but should be a decent day. And the matchup I really like for him this week is C.J. Anderson. This is the game where you might have to cut ties with him if he doesn't do well after this game, because he might not get carries anymore either. The Lions are allowed 150 yards rushing a game. They haven't looked good. If he doesn't get on track this game, like I said, he may not, but I really think this is where he's going to revert back to last year's second half form and score some big points. And also at quarterback, he's got Big Ben. With Le'Veon coming back, it adds that extra element as a pass-catching running back. But Ben's they're going to throw the ball a lot still, even with Le'Veon. And now that the Steelers had go for 2, they went for 2 the first 3 touchdowns they scored last week. So now if they keep up that trend, it's going to just add to his what am I looking for here? His value. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. So, and also the Dingbats have the number 1 fantasy defense in the Broncos. Stafford's a little banged up, and they're in another pretty good matchup now that Stafford's banged up. So I'd like them to win, not only beat the spread, which is 10 now, it was 5, but I like them to win the game outright. And the next game will be the Bears and Cash Money Millionaires.